Ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness. Back
Round two.
in action. Mike, we got so much love from this last episode, dude, that we had. So first and foremost, I'm stoked, dude, that you're back here.
Likewise, man.
Man, the crypto, I didn't think it would blow up that big. I didn't think people would really love it so much, but I guess it is a now thing.
It's your energy.
I think it was your energy and the gems and obviously the tools that you gave to so many people that it's really well received. I had to get you back here as fast as I possibly can, man. So thank you for coming back here, dude.
Chris, I'm just happy to be back. Right, like it's been very productive since I've last seen you. Right, and I've got a lot to share with you and the community at Running Bear. So yeah,
I've heard there's you got some stuff brewing right now, and obviously with right now your company, I hear you got some really good things in the works. So congratulations, man, that's massive.
Thank you.
With that being said, I want to just jump right into it, man. Sure. I mean, you're right now we talked about crypto last time, which was, again, it was awesome. And you taught us so much, taught me so much. But there's also so much going on the AI side. And I know we dropped that seed as we should have this conversation, but you're actually doing AI. I'm doing AI. So it only makes sense. Let's crack this thing open, man. Let's have a conversation. Let's just get right into it. What is AI?
Man. So, that's a really good question because to whom you're speaking to, it can vary, but it's just artificial intelligence. And it's the opportunity to get machines to basically act as the human brain, right? Computer vision, like your eyes, right? The training of these machines with data, right? Think of the brain. It's essentially machines acting like the human equivalent of the brain. And that's what we're working on right now with artificial intelligence.
That in the brain's complex, man. So your problem solving, your perception, empathy.
Empathy, we haven't gotten there yet.
Not yet.
Or even self-reflection. AI cannot yet.
Okay.
But it just shows how early we are in the space, and I think that's the opportunity.
But we can perceive. There's perception. There's problem solving.
Yes.
So it has attributes. At least the artificial intelligence, and it's growing and it's learning.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's just really. So if you take a look, right, AI has really been on the scientific research side. So I would say science has been really fundamental, math and, just basically looking at breakthroughs that can be had. Then there's this Alex network. It's called AlexNet. Excuse me. It was breakthrough research that was done at the University of Toronto that in 2012 used GPUs to really crack the AI code. And that's where we are right now, building on top of that. You also find one of the researchers for AlexNet was actually one of the co-founders now of OpenAI, right? Ilya, I can't remember his name, but it's really interesting. I would dive a little deeper into what they did at AlexNet, but that is really what brought us or brings us here to where we are now with OpenAI, just the AI agents, and even that AI agents they are only a couple years old, right? AI agents, went live with ChatGPT, I think it was February of 2023. And then we start seeing the proliferation of AI agents. So it's really interesting what's taking place at this moment. I'm from the crypto space, and now there is this movement that's happening which is called decentralized AI, and it's a really nascent, I would say, not only narrative or opportunity, but technology, right? Where AI has been in the past years or decades more so on the scientific side, scientific research. Several breakthroughs happened, including the AlexNet winning the ImageNet challenge in 2012. But now AI agents we're seeing very new, but there are challenges that they have. Your black box model, right? We don't know the data sets that are being used to train the large language models. There's a lot of censorship as well taking place already, and hallucinations, right? So crypto, the infrastructure of Web3, is actually one of the perfect fit for AI, and we can dive a little deeper into that. But that's essentially what we're working on at OORT, which is just really incredible. The timing,
That's massive. That's
Yes.
massive, and you said a lot. You said a lot there regarding the AI agents, specifically large language models. So when we're talking about agents, ChatGPT being a recent agent, and it's an agent. So when I hear agents, I'm hearing a lot of terminology being thrown around. Agentic
Sure.
AI, generative AI, artificial intelligence as just general chatbots. I'm hearing all of these, and I feel like there's probably some confusion around that. Is there a way for us to dissect that? Because I think that people feel like it's just the word AI. So for some of our listeners, I know this may be the first conversation they hear about AI. So if you hear about an agent, it's okay. Well, what is an agent really? Is it AI agent just ChatGPT? Well, kind of, sort of.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's also, I believe, it's also generative AI because it could generate content. Is that?
Yeah, so AI essentially proliferates content, right? Information. But like the agentic AI right now has become more so your assistant. We're seeing the more practical use cases for AI, which is the agents. And as I was saying earlier about the scientific research, that was like vast amount of research that took place in the past. But now we actually have more practical approaches that are taking place in AI, which is the agentic AI and then also your chat boxes. Essentially, these are tools that are useful for making your life much easier, whether that's at the corporate level or the individual level. And it's worth playing around with this whenever you get a chance. Each AI agent that's on the market, right, they have their niche use cases. Your chat GPT is very helpful, right? I know people that are vibe coding, right? They're using AI agents as well to do this. Vibe coding is like when you're using an agent to actually help you code, which is just incredible.
That's amazing.
Right.
Which is essentially how I guess the talent war kind of started with big tech startups in California and moving out to Seattle, and you're getting the talent. And now if you could have one of these things in your back pocket and never have to actually get a large brick and mortar, you can essentially build a $1 billion company by yourself, is what you're saying?
Which is exactly what's taking place. I mean, people are asking, the AI agents, like, what's the next thing that they need to look at as far as opportunities or company that they should build. Or if I was talking to my cousin yesterday and he's a streamer, he just started this new streaming project and he goes to his chat GPT on a daily basis asking what topic should he be talking about that's most relevant today that he could stream on? And you'd be surprised. He gets like a detailed layout of the land by ChatGPT. But then like Perplexity, I utilize Perplexity often, and that's for my research. I love it because after you ask, you prompt, you ask a question, right? It will come back with these answers, but then also more tabs that are related to your prompt and bringing you down a deeper rabbit hole of whatever it is that you're trying to research. So like there's so many, this is the most dynamic market that I've seen. I thought crypto was crazy. Like as a researcher, let me bring it into context for you. In the past, the news cycle would be maybe 7 days. So this was like before 2016. Prior to 2016, when I would do all my research, like a story would be in the news for like 7 days. But then after 2016, I don't know what the hell happened. They only lasted like 5 minutes. So a new story was coming out every 5 minutes. And I started feeling, because I was new to crypto then, and there was a lot of activity, I would like try to keep away from too many people so that I can always have the time to like spend in front of like a computer screen and like all day nerd out on like the latest news, right? Because it's like 5 minutes. Yeah. But like if I missed one day, it felt like I missed a week. If I missed a week, it's like I missed a month, right, of information. And I thought that was like crazy. But now with like the advent of like rollouts from AI, I feel like this is even way more dynamic than the crypto space, and it's really crazy. So, Grok is also another agent that I really enjoy using, though sometimes it's down. But I think it's really cool because they're pulling data from Twitter or X, and then also you can utilize. There's a DeepSeek feature internally. There's just you could do deep learning or ask like deep questions. It's really telling of what's about to take place. We're moving so fast. It's kind of like we're building a plane while flying it at the same time. That's the AI space, and there's always new updates because you also have the corporate or your Fortune 500 company that's also building out their own version of AI so that they can remain relevant. But with crypto now being involved in this, I think that's a massive untapped market and real solutions that can come from this space to actually, in an organic and mutually beneficial way, help scale AI.
When I think of just those use cases and kind of the potential in the markets, my first thought initially goes to a company because it resonated so much as far as a use case was I'm not sure if it's Alibaba, but I know.
Oh, they just I believe they launched one their own recently too.
Yeah. I feel like, so I was a huge fan of Alibaba back in maybe 2000 when they IPO'd, 2015, 2016, something like that. At like the $92-$93 a share or something like that. But I was more fond on their ability to scale and what they were doing with their manufacturing facilities, and they were converting all of those to specifically these robotic systems that were essentially a neural network, and they all essentially think Amazon, like Amazon Prime, Amazon delivery warehousing in all these factories and forklifts. They just had robots that went under the pallets and just systematically knew to the supply chain where to go. Order gets placed, it goes into the systems. Crazy. Everything is linked up so autonomous, and it was perfect. It was immaculate. But they also had a blockchain that they also are entangled with. I'm not sure what blockchain, but somehow I'm thinking, man, you have autonomous robots that self-charge and automatically have your supply chain down. You're integrating it onto a blockchain, so your ledger is immaculate. what's that look like financially? What does your numbers look like on a curve? And this curve, Mike, curve just went up.
Yeah.
It just goes up, and the amount of billions and billions that they're projected, it was just a rocket. You saw When Moon, they had a date. Dude, they had a date when Moon, just straight up. And I was fascinated by that. I was absolutely fascinated because I'm like, man, this is a really awesome use case, but this is it wasn't very much talked about as far as they were just doing it, and they were pioneering it in supply chain. And I know Walmart has some stuff similar. So I see from a commercial side it kind of integrating into so these larger companies to help streamline. And now, with that being said, I can't help but to think murmurs like workforce. They say AI is going to replace workforce. What are your thoughts on AI coming in and taking maybe blue collar jobs, taking jobs that are, people maybe enjoy doing? They just enjoy it. They loved it. They've mastered it. It's their craft. It's a skill, whatever it may be.
Interesting question, because I believe, from a contrarian point of view, that AI is being built to take everyone's jobs. There's also, in a joking manner, CZ in our space of Binance, he jokes that humanity's last job is to train AI. Right? So I think personable skills are going to be necessary moving forward. Gray matter skills are also going to be necessary, like, where you have to think and actually do. That's going to still be relevant in the future of AI. The concern that we're seeing coming down the pike is not only AI coming for everyone's job, but there's a potential for a two-tiered society. Those that are programmed by AI and those that program AI.
Ooh.
Right? And I've seen this concern in a book, The Age of AI by Eric Schmidt and Henry Kissinger. Recommend highly that you take a look at that whenever you get a chance.
Yeah,
right?
I absolutely will.
So I'm always looking at the contrarian approaches, because our goal is to actually make sure, or try to ensure, that it's more of a positive outcome. Think about like years back when there was no computer, right, in the workspace. I'm a 80s baby, so I like even cell phones. I didn't start using computers and cell phones, well, maybe until I was the computer when I was 10. I got my first cell phone when I was like 18, 19, right? Life before then. But imagine how that affected jobs of the past.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So imagine you're the person that takes notes, right, for a company. But now this computer comes into your business as far as the daily operations. You got to learn real quick how to like optimize and like be a part of the times, or essentially get phased out. But now today's computers, laptops are like everywhere. If you don't have a laptop, even in your pocket, your cell phones become a laptop, right?
Absolutely.
But if you don't have a laptop, then you're not fully optimized, especially as an entrepreneur, right? And we're remote entrepreneurs. So, now it's become like a vital part of your experience, the computer, and then also your cell phone. On the go, I'm always on my cell phone, and that's like the smaller version of my laptop, right? But keeping in mind that these are fairly new for me in my lifetime. I started playing with the computers when I was 10, so it was 5th grade in the States.
Yeah,
right?
actually same. And a little Apple learning, little
like
Apple games.
Oregon Trail.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Very, very simple games.
Super Munchers.
Oh, dude,
like floppy disks.
I had a typing class.
We had to do those as well.
Typing word speed of how many you could do in a minute.
Exactly.
With the fingers, like a typewriter,
But look at how fast the technology has scaled in the course of that short period of time, because that's now 30 years.
Now no one could read and write.
The atrophy. Yo, speaking of which,
no, people are getting dumber. No, not people who are watching this. Obviously, you guys are not. You guys
you're giving them the alpha, right?
Right. You guys are actually learning something and contributing. But a lot of people who are essentially getting dumber, at least from class scores and children in curriculum. People are getting away from reading and writing, essentially.
So it's 2 points that I wanted to bring up. Let's start with the first. Let's go back to when I didn't have a cell phone. I can remember any and everybody's phone number, right? I mean, my recall was like amazing, but after having the cell phone and like at age 18, 19, like my recall on everyone's cell phone number is like not even there. I can barely even remember my phone number most times, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of atrophy that took place there. But then my second point is there was a study that recently came out from MIT about the effects of LLMs, large language models, and just brain, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, they had people use... I think it was like 3 classes of people. One, write an essay using like ChatGPT. One class writes an essay using search engines. Third, writes an essay just using the brain. And what they discovered was the people that used the LLMs, the ChatGPT, their recall on what they wrote, they couldn't even remember it.
Wow.
Right? But when you wrote from your brain, the recall was there. It was very easy to remember. And then, they used like ChatGPT to help refine their essay, and they could still remember what they wrote. But those that used ChatGPT to just basically put together their essay couldn't remember what they wrote. So it's basically the point of the matter is be careful of your use of these agentic AIs, just AI in general, because overuse can cause atrophy, cognitive atrophy.
That's a really big point, and not to change subjects, but I want to touch on just that point, just in a different context. So, if this study from MIT is causing brain atrophy, there's a statistic. Who is it? It's the World Forum, World Economic Forum, if I'm not mistaken, for 2025. Young men between the ages of, I'm gonna say, 34 and 45, are currently on the uptick and increase specifically for suicide. So from 2018 to 2022, if I'm not mistaken, those numbers were about 18.5%, give or take. Obviously, numbers and statistics, but 18.5% on the uptick to close to 22, 23%. So essentially, 1 in 4,600 to 4,900 young men are committing suicide. So, in we accept all colors here, but more in young white men apparently. Wow. So it's like 1 in 3,900 or something compared to like the 4,600, 4,500.
Jeez.
So, but here people are people, regardless. So I bring up that stat just to say, if AI is coming for people's jobs, young men are on an uptick of committing suicide. What happens in 5 to 10 years when these men want to start families, are going through higher education, and they're in a system that no longer possibly supports them from a career standpoint, unless they adapt.
Sure.
But stats are also saying that our young boys and girls aren't doing too well from a test score standpoint. Just from because of writing. So I say all of this to say, There's symptoms, man. I'm seeing symptoms, Mike. I don't.
So it's really interesting that you bring that up because, you said from like 2018 to like 2022, right? So I think COVID had a lot to do with that as well, with is like the increase in suicide that was taking place. And then ChatGPT really goes live like February 2023, right? So, okay, let's try to unpack and see what we can make like any sense of this. What I believe is the opportunity was a bit of individuality and like time alone. When COVID happened, I was able to like face a lot of like my internal demons, right? Where many people didn't have that opportunity before because they always had a consistent way to like always go out and keep themselves basically distracted, right? And these distractions are necessary for some people. But essentially, we need to have that internal conversation, that dialogue, so that you can really tap into who you are and what your purpose is. So you speak to most successful people. I don't know how you become successful if you don't have that time alone, right, for self-reflection, right? And just really becoming that individual, right? So there are challenges that people are going to face. We all do. It's a part of the human experience, right? And it's very relative. But there's like no real reason to give up right now. This is the opportunity. You're living in an experience that is now becoming technologically advanced. And these young people are going to be the builders of the future. So that should get you really excited about what's taking place, especially on the tech side. So where I believe school is becoming obsolete, if not outmoded, it's a bit archaic because what you're being taught is not to be a entrepreneur or a CEO. You're basically being taught how to be like a worker bee, right? But now you have the tools at your fingertips that can give you all the information that you need and can go further in depth with these agentic AI, right? You can ask it all these questions, have conversations with it, practice, use this as often as you can. Doesn't matter the AI that you choose. Actually, I would recommend that you play with several AI agents, right? And until you get your cadence. But it will give you insight on so many different verticals of life and potential opportunities that you can discover with your AI agent as your personal assistant. It could even help you, like, talk you out of suicide. Really? Right?
Yeah.
That's where we are right now.
It could.
But look at what took place from 2018 to where we are now in 2025, where we weren't even talking about AI agents.
No.
In 2018 going into COVID.
No, I feel like ChatGPT just came out of nowhere and just slapped a bunch of people. From that day, I have used ChatGPT every single day.
Yeah, it's your girlfriend.
My wife. We're happily married. We got a couple agent babies.
That's right.
We got a couple additional agent babies. We got a big family, bro.
Oh my gosh.
We're 10 plus over here, man, and we're growing. And that's the thing about it. It's like I have a relationship with this thing now. It's almost like, now, how do I use it? I use it for a bunch of things.
Yes.
I use it for scripts. I use it for emails and formatting. Maybe I want to write something. I'll throw a prompt in or what I want done. My prompt's usually the intention piece.
Well, what is a prompt?
That's a question. That's a good question. Good question. My prompt is the intention piece that I input in text or verbally into this this agent. I conversate with this agent, and then this generative AI creates content, and it doesn't necessarily finish the sentence. It finishes and predicts the paragraph, if not the entire story, based on how I started it. So how I input this prompt something comes back after it hits all of these nodes and all of these layers. So a result comes back. Now, what is that result? The most fascinating thing, it might be so different for me than it is for you.
Sure.
Simply on how we ask that question around the same exact context.
And that's exactly what the prompt is. It's just a question.
Is it the right question?
That's the question.
That is the question. Is it the right question?
Are you asking, just like you were saying, the right question to your agent, which is, how are you prompting this agent? And what's really interesting about that is if you can prompt, it's called now prompt engineering.
You engineer now?
Yeah, prompt engineering.
That gives us an engineer title.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
He's got a degree now. New degree.
Do I have to go to an institution to get the piece of paper though, or I'm not an engineer or a pioneer?
Well, it's so new that they're still trying to figure it out, right? So we are on cutting edge, which is freaking amazing to me.
Course and certificate,
right? Harvard. Prompt engineer.
I'm sure. I'm sure they'll actually give you a certificate too. Harvard or online. I see some free online courses. I signed up for a couple of them.
Get them.
Only because I'm essentially in that world, and my 9 to 5 is that healthcare technology. But I'm not going to name drop just for the sake of not representing that organization at this point in time. But
yeah. Well, but. So you understand what's taking place, and our goal is to actually highlight and bring people into the world that we are living in, right? Because there needs to be a little bit more exposure. A lot of it is a bit opaque. People just hear the word AI being thrown around, and our goal is to now help guide them into this space. Don't be afraid of it, right? A few years ago, I used to be scared of the whole AI thing. What's it gonna do, right?
Terminator Matrix type.
Yeah, I'm watching all the movies, AI going wrong or rogue.
Yes, you see some of these viral videos and robots are going crazy, or you hear stories and stuff like that. It's
But this is the opportunity, is knowing that we're coming from a pure intent, right? We can now learn, study, get in the midst and middle of what's taking place with the AI rollout, and then we can bring what we want into the space, right? Which is to basically be ethical about AI, help human beings, add more value back to the people with this new technology, which is so new. The past few years or decades has all been scientific research, but now we're seeing more practical use cases roll out. Elon Musk is talking about his robots and then his taxis, right? We're seeing what's this group, DARPA, and their robots as well, which a lot of interesting things taking place. Robot dogs. When you're in Asia, you see robots as coming to your door of your hotel, right?
I see. I'm just gonna throw this out there, sex robots, and only because of mobile.
The mobility on your sex robot.
Pornography is at an all-time high, and it's extreme. There's tubes and all this stuff. I feel as though that industry is also on the forefront of using artificial intelligence for more empathy and connection for people to somehow hook them with love.
So, let's talk about that for a little bit, because we are seeing the sex robot industry increase. A lot of it's coming from Japan. But it's now coming over to Western nations as well, which is really highlighting a lot of loneliness, going back to the suicide rate being up, right? So these are opportunities. These challenges I look at as opportunities to help humanity with this new technology, right? What that is, what the solution is, we haven't quite ran into it yet, but I'm sure it's there. We just have to make a focus on it. Right now, that hasn't been my focus because I'm more taken right now with bringing people back into the AI space as far as making them like what word would I say here? It would actually they've come up with this new acronym. It's like humans in the loop, HITL. Yeah, it's like the new acronym, but it's really just bringing people back into the AI space as data generators, data contributors, data labelers, where they actually get paid to actually participate in this this new technology. So what is data, right? Data is anytime you digitize a human experience, that's data. Anytime you interact with technology, you've created new data sets.
So are we talking about social media posting, likes, engagement, or are we talking about also search engine?
All of that.
A browser, cookies.
You in your GPS, right? Like the data that you're putting in that,
maps,
like
where you go,
your Tesla.
So everything that you do from your digital device essentially is they're all data points going on, essentially some graph that eventually is going or is being read or observed and then maybe fed into some kind of thing analyzing in a predictive model for what you will do next.
Essentially, that's how you market, right? So the challenge here is each individual, their cell phone, and we know people with like one or two cell phones, right? Sometimes even more. It's a treasure trove of data in your lifestyle, right? Every time you interact with that cell phone, you're creating new data sets on yourself that, I mean, you can't monetize, but it's being brokered by large data brokers to these institutions. And all of it's black box model. Like, we don't know what's taking place. We don't even know how they're using the data to train AI. But sometimes you'll get whatever you were thinking about or typed in marketed right back to you. And you wonder, how did that even happen, right?
You say it and it listens, and somehow it just an advertisement, a sponsorship on the back end kind of pops up, and you're just like, we just talked about that. Like it was like, what was that actually listening? Was my microphone enabled?
Exactly.
And if it was, where did that information go and what? And it is. So okay, that's a good point to just even stop and highlight risks of being unaware of what is actually happening. So if I have my cell phone, it's probably very vital, important for me to understand what's going on with my cell phone.
Of course.
My tracking, what cookies are, my search history. As I'm leaving all of this information here, people are taking that and essentially using that to sell stuff to me.
Corporations are taking that and then selling things to you.
And that's happening right now.
Yeah, that's happening right now. And it's all these data sets that are created are really being used to train these large language models. So now we're coming into a challenge where there's a bit of a scarcity, data scarcity, because a lot of the large language models are all trained on the same data. So if you prompt each agent with the same question, it will come back with something similar because it's all using the same data. So what we are building now is we think human beings are the commodity and your data is a commodity, and basically unlocking that where people are paid to participate in this data generation.
Oh, so now you're giving power back to the people,
back to the users,
and allowing them real time to earn just based on their daily behaviors.
Absolutely.
Which is game changer. Game changer.
This chair, I just almost flip back.
If there's a moment for it, if there's a moment for that chair to break, it's right now, bro.
Oh,
break,
come on.
no, break that thing, dude. Nah, I'll break it, Uncle shit, right? No, dude, no. That's first off, congratulations, because I would consider you, Mike, a true pioneer, because it takes a very brave person, but also very knowledgeable and a person in the know to be able to execute on such. So first off, congratulations, dude. That's massive. That's massive.
I think this is the opportunity, and it's not really me. It's like my team, right? I'm surrounded by some of the most smart people, the smartest people that I know, and we constantly just shoot back and forth on like how can we add value using what we know, right? And now that's the opportunity. So if you take a look during COVID, oh my gosh, it was like a year ago. I did some research on it, and I believe 80% of data that's on the market was generated during COVID, right?
Really?
Yes, 70 to 80. I'm pretty sure it's 80%.
Really?
A large portion of that was social media content, you know?
Interesting.
So basically, the human beings are creating all these data sets, right? But not getting paid for it. And then video was like the largest, right? Treasure trove of data that was being created during COVID. So like that now has like really been keeled down a bit, because now everybody's back out doing their own thing. They're no longer like in the house, like cramped, you know, just looking at like Netflix is getting data on you, right? Like your shows that you watch. They're
and then they
collecting
recommend,
that.
then they recommend something to you based on your watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's time for us to be a little bit more present about us and our data. And that's what we're trying to do. Actually, not trying. We are
You're doing
empowering.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. So this technology, so decentralized.
Decentralized AI. I didn't even get to jump into that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly that's the seed right
man.
there, because I'm absolutely fascinated. I'm fascinated because I have so many thoughts. First thing I think of is like social media. I think of social media.
Yes,
absolutely. This is gonna be on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube for allowing us to use this platform to without being monetized yet. On the way to getting monetized with every like and subscription and every comment, for just adding value and having conversations. And that's just the process right now. But fast forward here to you, Mike, we got decentralized AI. So
Yeah.
hypothetically speaking, if we weren't on YouTube having this video, having this conversation, bringing it to YouTube. So shout out to YouTube for even having the science to do that, to be there for its time. Now what you're saying is we could just take this video, plug it into, you say decentralized, into a place, and then everything that's generated from there, that content itself, one, monetized right off the bat, essentially when I use the word monetized, but you'd get compensated for feeding that video or that place or that thing, or is it something very specific, like a campaign initiative?
Oh man, this could go many different ways, right? So, for instance, what we have created is like what's called Data Hub. So we get our community to participate in like crowd sharing, right? Crowd sharing tasks. We have them do tasks that are incentivized with rewards, essentially. So one instance that could be analogous to what we're doing right now is a task could be do a podcast, upload it on YouTube. That is enough. You've just created a new data set, right? That could probably be piecemealed, but that is the opportunity there because data is becoming scarce. So I'll give you a bit of background on who we are and what we've been doing. So this is called OORT, OORT. It's a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough research project from Columbia University. And it's led by Dr. Max Lee. He's a professor, adjunct professor at Columbia University. He's founder. Dr. Sean Yang is CTO, co-founder. Myself, I'm the foundation chairman for OORT. And we've built out a decentralized AI infrastructure ecosystem. We launched a decentralized storage. We partnered with Dell. We are the first in Dell's small, medium enterprise ecosystem. Web3 project offered in that ecosystem for their partners to use. Then we also had a factually accurate AI agent, and that is a partnership with Lenovo, and we actually help to offset their call center costs. And last is the flagship product, which is called Data Hub. And Data Hub is crowdsourcing on-chain tasks that community members can do to basically generate data and get rewarded for it. And we're taking that omni-chain and proliferating decentralized AI. So what's really interesting is there's no literature on decentralized AI. So it's really got me excited. I feel like it's once again discovering Bitcoin, like, you know, back in the days when I fell into the whole Bitcoin ecosystem, like how excited I was about that. Now that's the same feeling that I'm having with this decentralized AI.
That's how I feel about it right now. And I feel so lucky and so blessed to even sit here and have this conversation with you while you're on the brink of pioneering something massive, man. So please just enlighten me into, you know, exactly where is it now and where do you see it going? Because I hear a lot about Web 3.0 and I hear a lot about decentralization. We had a conversation a bit briefly on Reggie in our last episode, who was also, you know,
he also secured some really strong patents in the AI space too. Reggie did which is just genius. I should try to check with him to see if I can get him on the podcast. Let's see. I won't make any promises because I don't know what he's up to.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. But we would love to have him. We could only be so blessed and to kind of share knowledge and just have conversations like
so
this.
So knowledgeable, man.
So are you?
You just no, but I mean, I walk away from Reggie just always like, man, this guy's on the ball, right? With like his insights is very prescient.
That's how I felt in our crypto conversation. This guy's on the ball, and but it leaves me with the maybe it's a selfish satisfaction of knowing that we're having the right conversations.
Oh well, yeah, that's true too. So once again, where we ended the last podcast, right, about the intellectual curiosity, this is how you stumble on like a decentralized AI, right? Such a new concept. It's so new. I'll tell you this. So Dr. Lee is now doing a residency at MBZU. So it's Mohammed bin Zayed University in Abu Dhabi. It's the only university in the world dedicated to AI.
Really?
Yes. And we, through Dr. Lee, are establishing their decentralized AI framework. And I'm expecting a book from Dr. Lee from specific to decentralized AI. So this is going to be really big. The opportunity, once again, is establishing the literature on decentralized AI, academic research, and so on. And I'll go a little bit more into the nonprofit that we just recently launched, which is also very exciting because this is bringing Web3 technology together to actually help tackle decentralized AI. So there's just so much taking place. Man, if I mental model this, I don't know if I'm going to get as much sleep as I used to enjoy in the future, because it's just going to be nonstop, you know, building, speaking, it's going to be very busy moving forward.
If I know anyone for that job, I hate to say it, but it's definitely you because of the light and value that you share and that you possess, and also the differences in the lives that you're making. And you know what? In that, no, dude, and that's exactly that's kind of how it happens, man. You show up, magic happens, bro. It's your gift and your curse, mainly your gift,
bro. It's just, you know, right timing, right place. You know, for me, God has been great, just very helpful, and it's just being able to spend a lot of time in self-reflection, individuating, identifying purpose, and clearly technology. Through Bitcoin, I didn't have any technology background, right? But Bitcoin got me here. And through like constant research and always maintaining that intellectual curiosity, I've always been able to see a lot further than I would say many people that I know. And I'm being humble about it because that's just my gift, right? Where others, their intelligence far surpasses mine. Mine has just always been laser focus on identifying opportunities. And what we're seeing right now is, and Balaji put it best, AI was built from the top down. Institutions, academia. Crypto is built from the bottom up. Guys like myself, you. And it's all coming together, converging into decentralized AI. Because AI needs the blockchain for the transparency. If we're going to take an ethical approach to this technology's rollout, right? You can think of the timestamp on the blocks. I mean, in each blockchain, right? Like as data sets are secured from a community member and then like integrated into a block, it's timestamped. We can now identify where it came from, and it's going to be transparent, right? It's immutable. So you can see if it's good or bad data if you wanted to. And now we can identify if there's a bad actor with that data stem.
Fantastic point. And I think that is actually one of the biggest benefits of AI is to be able to find essentially bad actors, because it would detect fraud, spamming, deep fakes.
We're seeing a lot of that, right? But I'm not trying to use it as a policing mechanism. I'm trying to give it back to the people so it can add more value to their lives. But like, all right, if you're using like the black box model, which is what's currently being utilized by the institutions that are building AI right now, right? On the traditional side.
Can you break that down? Like what is a black box?
That's a very good point, right? So it means we have no insight on the data sets that are being used and how they're being used to train that large language model, right?
There's just someone there, or maybe like a data scientist on the back end, or
that's like
maybe
uploading this information. Yeah. But when your AI spews out bad information, because AI is basically bad data in, bad data out, good data in, good data out through the machine learning, right? So if you're doing a black box model, it's going to be harder for you to identify when bad data goes into that machine. If you're using blockchain, you can now identify. It's a greater potential for you to be able to identify when that bad data goes in. So if we see the bad data, we can now like try to create some approach that would omit that from the, or we could just, identify whenever the AI is prompted and gives it an answer. It could also identify and share that, this is a malicious data set that was like upgraded or uploaded into like the data sets. Like the goal is to make this as transparent, as ethical as possible in approach, and also value add, right? Without, we don't want it to be authoritarian, right? And that's my concern about AI. Like, as I look at the opportunity, it's massive. It's probably the equivalent of like Bitcoin or crypto and internet all in one.
I feel that way as well in so many sectors, because for any kind of investment, anything that I'm looking at least what I've learned throughout my experiences, a great investment is something that encapsulates the growth of mankind, and it propels that generations in light years forward for the essentially the betterment of good medications, vaccines, internet, light, electricity, things of this nature. I personally feel artificial intelligence, AI, is also in now, absolutely. How vital is it now, right now, for people to really start understanding and dabbling? Because I had, and my friends know who they are. I had two concerning, I was on a hike recently, so they know who they are.
Yeah.
Two concerning reactions as I'm hiking. I'm like, man, so, how are you guys using AI? I was like, they're like, AI, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
No,
you see that often.
wait, you're not using ChatGPT? It's just like, ChatGPT? No, I heard about it. So I didn't download that app, though.
It's crazy.
And in my mind, dude, I can't tell you how light years ahead from day one to now as to what I've understood and learned and the capabilities and how fast, like you said, these things are rolling out. There's so much on a daily basis that's changing fast. So much. So I'm like, how vital is it to start doing that? Because I also, from the company I work with, on my 9 to 5, I see a lot of surveys. I'm always with a lot of data, and a lot of it is around how AI is being perceived and utilized by different generations, from the boomers all the way down to Gen Zs.
Oh, what's it saying?
It is initially saying that those specific groups are utilizing it differently. For example, the younger Gen Zs are more, they predominantly trust AI more than they essentially trust probably medical device. Or I'm sorry, medical advice.
Oh, medical. Really?
They are trusting AI more. They have a more trust in AI. Less on really the data piece. It's less concern about the data. Here's my data. More on, this thing is probably non-biased. I'm assuming it's non-biased.
That's interesting.
I'm speculating on that piece, but that's what it's saying. And it's saying that each generation has a little bit different element depending on where they are in their life. And that's what I found the most interesting, is that if you have a ChatGPT, people are utilizing it for different reasons. And that is, it's
Speaking of people utilizing it for different reasons, and not to cut you because we're on this topic of medicine, but I've been seeing memes of people taking pictures in the doctor's office, and they're getting like glares off like the doctor's like mask of them using ChatGPT to help them perform some kind of like medical procedure, right? I don't know if that's true or not, but
that's actually a pretty funny meme.
Yeah, right.
I could see that, because interestingly, the company that I work for now has an amazing. They're really the pioneer also in the healthcare space as far as bringing AI agents, specifically agentic AI, that can perceive from an initial conversation, and then have humans in the back end, specifically a nurse line for triage. So if an agent, so if an agent, for example, say you go to a doctor, in order to you get some kind of diagnosis, something happens. Now you're routed to an agent. Now this agent essentially triages you, goes through a list of questions. How are you feeling? This happened? And you're going essentially like not a chat bot, but it could also be this or over the phone, which is interesting. So as you're having this conversation, maybe you say, I don't want to talk this. I want to talk to somebody. Routes you directly to a nurse, real live person. So you get a mix of humans that are it's accredited nurses all across all 50 states. So they are actual medical professionals on the back end. And then you have
the efficiency is there.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have both, because what we also are finding that people want both. They want the human touch, but they also want the autonomy, and they want the ability to kind of leverage it as they please. So they got the best of both worlds.
I think that's really interesting, right? If not compelling. I know, personally speaking, whenever I'm on the phone and I get like a AI agent, I can't stand it, right? I think that's a big turnoff. But when I hear that human on the other side, then it's more warm. They're more empathetic, right? That's very helpful. The AI agent is just really rigid, right? It's just press 2 for this, that kind of thing. And that's a big turnoff. So we're at a very early stage with AI. I think what you've just shared is very helpful as far as the efficiency for like workload, right?
Yes,
And then also the experience that the end user is having as well. There is a lot that's taking place. I want to make sure that we cover as much as possible because I know we were talking for a while.
It's fantastic, man. No, please.
I didn't even notice how long we were talking.
That's when you know it's a fantastic conversation for the right reasons.
Oof, yeah.
So let's wrap this up and let's leave the people with decentralized AI.
Decentralized AI.
Yeah, it's the future. Just how is this going to impact the future? How's it going to affect our daily lives, and why should we be interested in this?
All right, so it's really interesting. Decentralized AI is solving several challenges in the AI and data space. One, as I mentioned earlier, the centralized model, which is what we're used to. OpenAI supposed to be open, transparent, but it's not.
It's not.
Tons of billions of dollars behind it as well. Not talking bad about them, but that might just be I don't know, the equivalent of the intranet. You remember the intranet? That was it, like an internal network for companies that they would use. That was the equivalent of the internet.
I've always heard of like the internet. This wasn't the one with like the CDs, right?
No. So there was two versions of internet back in the days. I'm probably showing my age, but there was the internet, which was like the open, free, right, service. And then there was the intranet, which would be like a database internal for corporations. Like if you worked at like your healthcare company, they would have their own version, the intranet. So it was like the internal version of the internet that was specific to that company.
Interesting. No, I don't think I was I wasn't so dabbled into the internet at that point in time. Interesting.
Yeah. So now what we see is like nobody even knows about the intranet.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
But everyone's using the internet. And I don't know if that's the case for what we're seeing with the current centralized models, because my bet, and it's a prolific one, is that AI is going to be more ethical and transparent, and crypto is going to help with that, right? So that's what we're building. So much so, my belief, I'm such a proponent of this. We just recently launched HumanAIx, which I'm co-chairing alongside my partner Alessandro Vene. He's based in Malta. I'm here in New York, DC, international. But what we're doing is actually bringing leading Web3 mature technology together to create a standardization of decentralized AI, like literature. We are creating this with some of the values of Bitcoin. So it's going to be transparent, scalable, verifiable, right? Like Bitcoin. And we're going to use their technology to create this open, decentralized AI tech stack.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we'll get academia involved as well, because I think we believe AI should be a nonprofit. It should be not for profit. It should be giving value back to the people, similar to OpenAI's initial belief, right?
That's a big mission, because you're to take that away. I think I think of like Elon Musk and ChatGPT, and from my understanding, or from ChatGPT or OpenAI and the subscription model. I think he had some conflict with that because of that. I think he believed it should be that, and it should be I don't know, maybe uncentralized. I don't know. It's not the right word.
It's supposed to be decentralized,
right,
like data centers servers, GPUs should be decentralized, distributed, right? That's what we're building at this moment, where
Amazing.
you would think with these Web3 projects, leading Web3 projects and their technology, we can create like an open protocol for storage, for decentralized storage, right? Because the data that's created from like the open data marketplace or data layer, where human beings can actually become data contributors, whether that's labeling data that's been created or generated, or even be collectors, right, of these data and getting paid for that in these, or rewarded for that, in like these native tokens or whatever it is that we establish for it. And then like GPU, CPU, open protocol area that you can rent, buy, right? I think this is what should be created. AI is a team effort. It's not just a me effort, and it's not just one corporation effort and what they're bringing to the people. It's people now actually coming in consensus to build something that's going to add value to humanity for generations to come. So what we're building now, this should, if we do this correctly, impact our grandkids, right? If we do this correctly, and that's what I'm big on. I think the team that we have that's leading this can actually execute on this, and we should be making a big splash circa sometime token 2049 Singapore. So that's what's taking place right now. And what's even cooler about it is we actually are launching academic nodes, right? So you would think of this as chapters. We're starting with MBZU, Mohammed bin Zayed University. So it would be like HumanAIx MBZU, and then followed by HumanAIx Columbia. And this is where students, right, because they have no exposure to decentralized AI, they get the mentorship, they get the internship, they get the potential job opportunity, they can help with academic research.
True pioneer.
Yeah, right.
True
They
pioneer,
get them in the conversation, help make this more robust, right? And then the leaders in DEAI can actually present, meet, like host events at these schools. So we're building that node service as well. So they run independently. Yeah, that's where we are right now. I think that's going to be huge.
I think it's going to be absolutely huge as well. And I think for all of our listeners that tuned in, check out Michael Robertson, because there's amazing things to come. And Mike, you did it again.
We did it again.
We did it again. Dude, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chris. Delighted to be back at Running Bear.
Bro, and this concludes another episode of the Running Bear.